you ever considered becoming a vegan but didn't know what steps to take? Or started the transition but wasn't able to finish the process? Well, you're in luck because now you have the easiest way to become a vegan. A simple and clear guide to embracing a vegan lifestyle. For more information, please visit www.veganintel.com and get your guide today.
Positive energy all the time. Yep, make sure you get your copy of The Easiest Way to Become a Vegan. Go to www.veganintel.com and get your copy. Also, I have about 6 more copies to give away for free. For those of you that sent me your address, just hold on a minute. I'm trying to send out all 10 at one time. Go to Vegan Intel Chicago on Instagram or send your name and mailing address to veganintel@yahoo.com and I'll send you out a free copy. I'm trying to send out 10 free copies. This is the last weekend I'm going to wait because I got people waiting on theirs. And if you don't request your free copy by Monday, then you wait until I do it again. I will do it again. I'm going to give out 20 copies next time, right? So I'm giving out some copies. These are really not to make money. These are to help people. And even when I sell them, I'm not making any money. And so it's definitely for the community. But definitely get this. 2 or 3 copies. You really should always have some laying around the house. You should have some in the envelope. They got the vanilla envelopes that this fits perfect in. You should have 2 or 3 laying around the house. When family members come by and they're not feeling well, when they get ready to leave, give them the envelopes. Say, here, Auntie, check this out, right? So have it like this, right? Slide it in there like that. And, if mom's not feeling well or dad's not feeling well, or auntie or your sister, whoever, friend, when they get ready to leave, this is the best way. Don't say anything. People kind of, when you tell them to stop eating meat, they kind of get a little funny. So rather than telling them to stop eating meat, this is a great way. Hand this to your relative that's not doing well, that's going through dialysis. Well, if they're going through dialysis, not necessary. If they have some serious medical situation, then you're going to have a doctor help because they can't just change. You can't just change the way you eat if you have a serious medical condition. So you got to always consult your physician, okay? If you have a serious medical issues, because there's a lot involved with your health and with medical issues, okay? So when you have medical issues, there's a lot involved with that. So that's not nothing where you could just go and just change the way you eat or just do whatever. You really do have to consult your doctor, okay? You have to consult your doctor. There's a lot involved. So that's why I'm trying to get you to change the way you eat early, so you won't be waiting until you have medical conditions, which now it's a lot involved with that. If you're diabetic, you're not going to just be able to eat a lot of fruit, when you're having spikes in sugar, you're not going to be able to eat a lot of fruit. You're going to have to consult your doctor because there's only certain fruit you're going to be able to eat, and there's only a certain amount you're going to be able to eat. Okay? So, this is why you want to keep your body healthy. You don't want to wait until you have problems. But get these vanilla envelopes, get a couple of these copies, have them laying around if anybody's not feeling well, or just if you love them. Just if you notice dad's getting a little too plump. Dad's age is getting, your husband, he's getting a little plump. He's getting a little. And so, ladies, you might want to put an envelope, put a heart on there, I love you, and sit it on his dresser. You want to get the psychological effect of him opening it and looking at it, right? And reading it himself, and you're right, to make him have to fight harder or make her have to fight harder to resist it, rather than you telling them da 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 and they just blow it off. It's a stronger psychological effect if they read it. The easiest way to become a vegan. You might get lucky, they might open it up and start reading through it. And because it's simple and short, when they read it, if they just read a couple paragraphs, that'll begin to stick in their head. Right? So you want to do that. I hope everybody's doing great. How you all doing? So tonight we're talking about food is medicine. There's a lot of talk about food being medicine, right? A lot of talk about that, right? And for those of you all watching me, look, this is not a battle between meat eaters and vegans. That's not this. That's not that. This is not a battle of, oh, the way we're doing it is the right way, and that's not that. This is simply the facts on what you have to do for your health. So, well, let's say you eat regular and you see me saying go vegan. And you're eating regular, you might got a little high blood pressure, you're gaining weight. Okay, here's you. You're eating a lot of meat, fish, dairy, eggs, all that. Your cholesterol's up, boom. Here's me. I don't eat any dairy. I don't eat any meat. I don't eat any fish. I don't eat artificial flavors, artificial colors, sweeteners. Now, you say, I don't want to do that. You got to have meat, blah, 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 blah. But the fact is, this is you, this is me. If you don't want to come here, but I can prove I'm right, because if you just come here, you'll get healthier. Think about that. If you just come here, you don't got to come where I'm at. If you just come here, if you just include more cabbage and beans and sweet potato, and if you just cut your portions of your meat and just added more fruits and vegetables, you'll feel better. Just halfway, you'll feel better. If you just take your food back to your great grandmother's way of eating and make those portions more, where it's not just meat and potatoes and bread and one vegetable, it's two vegetables or three vegetables and a potato and meat, which is going to mean less meat, less potatoes, because you got to get those string beans in there, or you got to get that cabbage in there. You got cabbage, you got corn, or you see, you're eating a salad before you start eating your meal, even if it's just a little bit. So now you're getting full without it just being meat, bread, and potatoes. You can't eat that much meat, bread, and potatoes because you're eating everything else. You're increasing your digestion. You're making it. You're putting for the men out there. You got oil in your car. Your car can't run dry, so you have antifreeze. You have oil. You have gas, liquids to lubricate the vehicle. Okay, your body, it needs lubrication. You cannot stuff bread and potatoes and meat in your colon because it can't get out. This is just common sense. You got to put some oil in the engine. Now, I know men say, yeah, I never thought about it. You got to put some oil in there. The colon cancer is not because you're eating meat. The colon cancer is because it's stuck in there and it's sitting there too long. And you're not having regular bowel movements. Buy some prunes. Eat one prune every day. Two if they tasting good. Give it to your wife. Give it to your husband. You got to have something to move the bowels. And the sickness is because we're eating too dry. Even if you're a vegan, if you're eating dry, if you're eating vegan burgers and bread and potatoes, you're not going to be healthy. That's not a part of your family history. So don't tell me, oh, that's how my. No, 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 no. Your family ate a lot of grapes. I don't care if you're white, black, or whatever. If you're an American, your grandparents and great grandparents ate lots of grapes, lots of plums, lots of fruit, lots of it. Peaches, melons. Your great grandparents ate cantaloupe for breakfast. This is a fact. This was an American part of an American breakfast. Americans didn't even eat cereal with milk and cornflakes. Americans put fruit in their cereal. Your grandparents, your great grandparents cut up bananas in their cereal, put peaches in their cereal. This is your history. And then your mama and daddy took it out and then passed that dry down to you. Okay? This is a fact. My generation is the one passed y'all the wrong way to eat. If I ate worse than my parents. Vegetables, smestable. Give me 4 pieces of chicken and some fries and a drink. I don't want the bread. I don't want the coleslaw. I want the chicken and fries, and my vegetable is a Coke. I'm sorry, I swear to God, Coca-Cola was my vegetable. We drink that like it's food. We get full on the Coca-Cola and the chicken and the stuff. That's why we be so hungry, because we really didn't get full. We put a whole bunch of soda in our stomach. Made us think we was full. We don't even be eating food. Look at the size of the drinks they give us. And so we got to get back to making food our medicine. You have to. Until we start making food our medicine, we ain't going to be able to fight the other war that we want grapes with seeds in them. So one reason they can take all the seeds out of our fruit because we're not eating the fruit. We're not eating the fruit, so they're just doing whatever they want to the fruit because we just eat it every now and then. It's not a part. But if we get back to eating the fruit, now we can fix that because nobody wants fruits with no seeds in it. When it gets to the point where you think you could do something better than creation, you're slow. You can't, you're on the earth, creation, nature had it the way it's supposed to be. There, you cannot do better than nature. All you can do is worse. Don't live a life where you try to say nature is stupid. How is nature stupid? Man, nature's stupid, Pharaoh. We don't need no seeds. Basically, that's what you're saying. You're saying that the natural way of the earth is stupid. And you're going to do a better way than the way nature did. You don't want no seeds in your stuff. We don't need no seeds. Mother Nature's dumb. She don't know nothing. And you keep thinking Mother Nature's dumb, and your houses is underwater. You know, hey, I've sent all my uh, 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 strength to Texas. You know what I'm saying? Texas is a victim of disrespecting the earth, improper building practices, building where you ain't supposed to build because you're not in tune with nature. You try to think that you can live anywhere on the planet. You ain't making no room for mudslides or floods that are natural. And then you're polluting everything. You're setting everything off balance. So you can never really balance the way you're supposed to take care of the earth if you don't balance the way you're supposed to take care of your body. And once you start to balance how you're supposed to take care of your body, and once you become interested in eating better and getting healthy on what you put in your body, then you're going to start worrying about what you put on your body. You're going to start worrying about your children with all this plastic. Did you know that when you buy a soda, do you know that your soda is not in a can, it's in a plastic bag? And the plastic bag is in the can. Anybody seen that video where the guy used acid and stuff to remove the metal and the Coke is in a plastic bag? Has anybody seen that? Look, if we don't start fighting for our health, we are going to be dropping like flies. Okay? Let me show you this before we keep going. I just seen this today. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my eyes, y'all. That the soda is inside of a plastic bag. Watch this. This is crazy. This is what's inside your soda can. It's a plastic bag in there. And then they pour that soda with all that acid into that plastic bag. And you think your soda's in a can. The man went and used acid to burn the can off. And this is what's inside. So now, because I don't drink soda, I have inadvertently not been drinking that plastic. Because I have not been buying drinks in a can. Didn't even know I was saving myself from all that plastic that we're consuming. And you know them plastic particles is coming off that bag, and that soda's full of plastic. This is why they saying we got a plastic spoon worth of plastic in our brain, in our head. They're saying there's enough plastic to make a small plastic spoon. Well, no wonder they got you thinking you're drinking out of a can and you're drinking out of a plastic bag. If this is not crazy, if this don't make you have a 911 for your health, and they need to be sued. There need to be a class action suit because you're supposed to tell us that. That's supposed to be on the can. The inside of this can contains a plastic bag. You can't just put no plastic bag in a can and just sell it to me and tell me you're selling me a can of soda. You're selling me a plastic bag of soda inside of a can. That's false advertisement. Much respect to everybody out there in Texas. This is just one example how if we don't start eating better, we ain't gonna never fix all these other problems. Eating, starting to get off meat and clean up and eat more is just the beginning, y'all. If you can't do that, if you're not trying to clean up the way you eat and you don't want to realize what's really not good for you, guess what you bathing your children in? Guess what you washing your hair with? Guess what you taking a shower with? Guess what you're washing your dishes with? If you're just walking around here buying any products they selling you without reading it and no investigation, thinking that everything that they making and selling you is just a fine. That's just the way we live, Pharaoh. We eat meat, we drink soda, we just drink, we just go buy it, we eat potato chips. It's more to it than that. You have businesses behind this that don't really have your best interests. So you have to have your best interests. If you don't have your best interests, you're going to buy vegan products that ain't no good. This is why so many vegan products go out of business because a lot of us, once we look into it, they out of here. We don't just buy that stuff just because they say they got almond milk. We look into it, and if your almond milk got a whole bunch of junk in it, we don't buy it. And you got a business. Like, what is it, Almond Breeze or whatever that company? Plant-based people, we don't buy that. We don't buy that. There's a whole bunch of vegan products go out of business because we ain't just blind vegan. We health. We in the health. You can't just put vegan on there and think we're going to buy it. We're into health. And these people selling us soda in a plastic bag is inside the can. Go to TikTok and look it up. Instagram, it's all over Instagram and TikTok. That inside those cans of soda is a plastic bag. And all that acid in that soda, they put it inside of that plastic bag. And you know that soda is absorbing all that different plastic particles that you drinking that soda, thinking you drinking out of can. We thinking we drinking out of can, so ain't nothing coming off the can onto the soda. We don't know that our soda's in a plastic bag. So look how much plastic I dodge because I don't drink soda. So I haven't been buying no cans. I don't buy cans. I hardly have any cans. I don't like cans anyway. I buy my tomato sauce and stuff in a jar. But I ain't gonna lie to y'all. They getting on my nerves. I'm telling you, within the next 3 months, I'm buying a food processor. You hear me, Kathy? Kathy, I'm buying me a food processor. I'm making my own ketchup. I'm not, man, I can't keep playing with them. I'm gonna get me a food processor, and man, I'm making all my sauces myself. Cause I'm just sick of them. Every time I buy something, it's a warning a year or two later. Oh, it's a warning, this is this and that. And they robbing me because I can get a food processor and make spaghetti sauce for how much cheaper. And then if I want it more garlicky, if I want it real fresh, I can make it the way I want it. I'm not finna be buying nothing from them. I'm not finna be buying no milk. I'm not finna be buying no sauces. I'm making all my stuff. I get a food processor, and within 6 months, it's gonna be to pay for itself, and I'm gonna be saving a ton of money. Just like I made my own protein powder, and that made 2 whole jars of my. I just blended up my own nuts and stuff into powder and mixed it together. I had 2 jars for weights and didn't use hardly none of my chia seeds, hardly none of my pumpkin seeds. I still got all them pumpkin seeds and all that because by me mixing them together, I only need a few of each one. I had 2 whole jars of protein powder. But listen, I'll be over here, you'll see. 2026, I won't have none of that stuff. That's my goal. By 2026, I'm making all. Man, I can't. First, they trying to rob me. A bag of plant-based protein powder, $40. They want you to use a big old scoop. You look up a month later, it's gone. Man, ain't nobody giving y'all $40 a month for no. Man, listen. Man, listen. All of that I'm gonna do over here live. I got the protein powder video over here. Well, I made my own. Man, it's a wrap. The cost of living is crazy. They don't want to pay us no good wages. Our electric going up, our gas going up, our internet bill going up, our car, everything going up. All right. And we can't trust them because they're going to sell me a soda in a can with a plastic bag in the can. Boy, I'm telling you, if you did that on the streets, you'll get beat up. If you did this to somebody on the streets with a product and you scam people like that and they think they're getting a can and you got a plastic bag inside the can, y'all don't think this is egregious? Tell me you knew we was drinking out of plastic bag when you had a can of Pepsi or a soda. You didn't know it was no plastic bag in there. Ain't nobody would have bought that. So what we trying to do, we trying to eat to live. Because we know what? Health is wealth. So we're not doing this foolishness. We are dealing with plants, and we're going to start using the concept that food is medicine, which is going to make us control our food. That's another thing. 2026, it's a wrap because in about another week or two, I'm going to take the time and I'm going to find these farmers markets. And man, all my food, I'm going to go once or twice a week to the farmers market and buy my vegetables and fruit directly from a farmer's market The stove is finna be out of here. Whole Foods finna be out of here. Every now and then I might have to go get some onion or garlic or something. Something but the bulk of my vegetables, I'm going to the farmer's market because I just had enough. I just seen a video the other day where Sprouts is spraying the food with a chemical. Y'all seen that video? Y'all seen that video of Sprouts spraying their food with the chemical? That's all over the internet. And they got the sign to show you. Yeah. They are spraying the food with a chemical. Yeah. To keep it fresh. To keep it fresh. I'm going to, listen. The big scandal. What is Sprouts spraying on our produce? Well, there's a sign in there they show you. The spray in question is a pesticide, microbial solution called Produce Max. It's a solution made of water, hypochlorous acid, which is free or combined chloride, and inorganic salt. From the Produce Max website, the solution claims to kill 99.999% of E. coli, salmonella, listeria. Are these pathogens on the produce or in the water the produce is rinsed in? Go read all of this. Look, man, let me tell you something. They are basically using forms of what I would call witchcraft. I'm not saying it's witchcraft. I'm saying that's what I would call it, to grow your food, to grow our food. And I know this, but I never put two and two together. When I was in Hawaii, I started growing ganja. And I was going to the store and I was just buying, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. I was buying plant food. So this white guy came by my spot and he said, "You're using chemicals to grow your food." I said, "Oh, wow. I'm a vegan. I'm plant based." At that time, I didn't know I was a vegan. I thought I was a vegetarian, but I was a vegan. So he said, "You need to grow organic." So I said, "Okay, what do I need to get?" You know what he told me? He said, "You need to get blood meal." Right? He said, "You need to get blood meal." Okay? They sell it in a bag. Okay? Hold on. This is what it looked like. You see the red? You see the red powder to the left, and you see the bags of blood meal to the right. So I went and bought a bag of blood meal. It wasn't until I dumped it out that I was like, oh, this is blood, right? He also told me to get a bag of bone meal. Okay? Real talk. He told me to get a bag of bone meal. I bought the blood meal, I bought the bone meal. Right? Bone meal. This is ground up bones from animals. Okay? So when I get back and I gotta mix this stuff to put on around the ground on my plants, when I open the blood meal, you can smell the blood. It's a big bag of powdered blood. Then you open the bone meal, it's a big bag of ground up bones. Now, this is organic. I'm young. I'm only 24. I'm a baby. I'm out here trying to grow. That's when I put two and two together. Organic. They saying grow organic. That's when I put two and two together. What's the root word of organic, y'all? What's the root word of organic? Organs. Organs. Organic organs. The root word of organic. Organs. Organic organs. So this is why I'm saying, to me, it was like witchcraft. To me. So I started doing investigation how I could get plant-based nitrogen, plant-based phosphorus. And I started, like, I'm one of the first people started like plant-based vegan growing. No chemicals, no organs, no blood meal, no bone meal. I started going to the health food store and buying the stuff that we eat to get calcium, the stuff that we eat. I started looking into that, and I started spraying my plants with other plants. So I'm saying all that to say, you know, we really don't know what these people are doing with this stuff they selling us. You know what I'm saying? We just taking chances buying any of their products, which by it being 2025 and we going into 2026, the reality is everything's so scientific and so mechanical. We don't really got to buy their stuff no more. You know, we slow because we can go to Amazon and order mason jars. Ladies, you can go to Amazon and order mason jars, and you can get your food processor and a good blender, and you're going to save a ton of money on top of that. What you gonna go buy ketchup from them for? When all you gotta do is they take the same ingredients, read the ingredient, go on the line, search the ingredients in ketchup, buy the whole product, the tomatoes and whatever, and make your own ketchup. You got a food processor. You'll make your own ketchup, and guess how much money we gonna save? Because when I go, if I want to make some ketchup, this is a perfect example, Kathy. If I want to make some ketchup, and I want to go buy the ingredients to make some ketchup, I don't have to make no whole bunch of bottles of ketchup because I could say, okay, I'm gonna make some ketchup. What's the ingredients in ketchup? Some of them ingredients gonna be the same ingredients for barbecue sauce. So I can use my food presser, blend up, pour my ketchup out first, keep the rest, and add whatever more ingredients go in there to make it barbecue sauce. I can add whatever ingredients to make spaghetti sauce. So I could take them tomatoes, and I can make ketchup, barbecue sauce, and spaghetti sauce. All I got to do is add the ingredients, whichever ingredients is not gonna mess up the final product. So if the ingredients in the barbecue sauce gonna mess up the spaghetti sauce, I make the ketchup first, then add to make the spaghetti sauce, and then add to turn my spaghetti sauce into barbecue sauce with the same tomatoes. And I ain't gotta go back to the store and buy that. Y'all know we don't be using up that barbecue sauce and that ketchup. It'd be a minute. Sometimes you open your ketchup, it be dry ketchup on the top. Like you ain't using ketchup every day. Mustard. You don't use that every day. I'm sick of them. I'm gonna get me a food processor. I should have been had a food processor. With a food processor, I can make my own milk too. Cause all milk is powder. All you're gonna do is make whatever kind of milk you want, make the powder, and then take the powder out the food processor and throw it in the blender with some water. If you want to sweeten it a little bit, you want to add more stuff, put it in the blender. What the hell are we buying this stuff for when we got food processors? Our parents didn't have food processors. We got food processors. It's time for everybody to go get a food processor. Your whole refrigerator be full of fresh condiments. Fresh. Everything. You make it yourself. Save a fortune. Especially you brothers and sisters in the South. Y'all right there where everything at, man. Y'all shouldn't be buying nothing out the store. Buy it. Go ahead and put the money out. Get you a top of the line blender and a top of the line food processor. It's gonna pay for itself in 1 year. After that, you you rolling, and then you ain't got to worry about them doing all this crazy stuff to our food because we need our food. You understand? Like the brother Imhotep that they trying to say Hippocrates said this, and Hippocrates learned it from Imhotep. And every time you look up, let that food be thy medicine, gonna say Hippocrates, who was born hundreds of years after Imhotep. Imhotep is the one that said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And the Greeks studied him and then went and said it was they. This is crazy. That's a whole nother video for another channel, right? I don't want to go down that road. But anyway, it's been said, let thy food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And this is what we're going to have to do. Food is medicine. Refers to the concept of using food as a tool to prevent, manage, and treat illnesses, integrating it into healthcare. This approach recognizes the profound impact of eating on overall health and well-being, suggesting that healthy eating can play a significant role in both preventing disease and aiding in recovery. Many fruits are incredibly healthy, but blueberries consistently top the list due to their high antioxidant content, particularly anthocyanins, which are linked to various health benefits. Other nutrient rich fruits include strawberries, apples, oranges, and pomegranates, each offering unique vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Here's a more detailed look at some of the healthiest fruits. Blueberries. Blueberries are rich in anthocyanins, which may reduce the risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes, improve cognitive function, and potentially lower body fat. Strawberries, excellent source of vitamin C, fiber, antioxidants, plus they may help regulate blood sugar. Blackberries, good source of vitamin C, vitamin K, manganese, and fiber, contributing to overall health. Raspberry, high in fiber, antioxidants, and vitamin C, supporting digestive health and overall well-being. If you get a food processor, all your jellies and jams could be made out of that medicine. Just facts. Citrus fruit, oranges, excellent source of vitamin C, which boosts the immune system and supports collagen synthesis. Because your body makes collagen, but you got to put the right thing in there to make the collagen. And when your body makes collagen, your nails are going to be stronger, your teeth are going to be stronger, your eyesight's going to be better, your bones are going to be stronger, your hair is going to grow way better. Who knew oranges could help with that? Lemons, rich in vitamin C and antioxidants, lemons are known for their potential to aid in weight loss and improve skin health. Grapefruit, a good source of vitamins and minerals. Grapefruit may aid in weight loss and reduce cholesterol levels. When I was a child, they used to cut up grapefruits for us for breakfast. My daddy would cut up a grapefruit. We'd eat our cereal and a grapefruit. The only thing is he would put sugar on it because he probably know we wouldn't eat it if he didn't. But nowadays, you could just put a little honey on there or maple syrup if you're a vegan. Other notable fruits, apples. Apples contain antioxidants and fiber, potentially lowering blood pressure, cholesterol, and inflammation. They always said an apple a day keeps the doctor away. One day we're going to realize that them people in the past told us all the answers and we did not listen. Pomegranates, high in antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds, potentially reducing the risk of cognitive decline, cholesterol buildup, and certain cancers. So then older people, we should always be giving them pomegranates. I take pomegranates, right? And I take all the pomegranate things out. Then I'll take dark chocolate that's sweetened with a little cane sugar, and I'll melt it in a pot, a glass pot. Then I throw the pomegranate in there, y'all, and I mix it up. And then I sit there and let it get hard. I don't care what it's shaped like because I'm going to just eat it anyway. And I make some pomegranate chocolate candy bars. Hey, I can't make them a lot because I eat it all up. And it's too, it's so good. And the little white kernels, I just spit them out the same way you do when you eat the pomegranate. So I just leave all that in the candy and eat it and just spit the little white parts out. But hey, man, that's some of the best candy you can make. And then that dark chocolate is really excellent for your health. And you got the pomegranates in there. The pomegranates don't lose none of its potency because it stays within side of this little casing and it's in the chocolate. So you're getting pure pomegranate every time you bite the chocolate because the chocolate doesn't break through the kernels, the pomegranate kernels. That's the best chocolate you can make. Avocados, I eat these all the time. Rich in healthy fats, fiber, and potassium. Avocados may help maintain healthy blood pressure, manage weight, and provide a feeling of fullness. So avocados is a good way to get full without eating too much. When I first became a vegetarian, that's what we used to eat for snacks was avocados because you could throw them in your backpack or throw them somewhere and ride on your bike, go to the beach. If you got a little sea salt, you just open it up and sprinkle the sea salt and eat it. Mangoes, a good source of vitamin C and A, polyphenols, and fiber, potentially lowering cholesterol and providing natural sweetness. That's going to stop you from eating cake, ice cream. Keep some fruit around the house. If you give the children some fruit, they won't be begging for candy. They're going to get their fix and be healthy. Pineapple contains vitamin C, beta carotene, potassium, and bromelain, an enzyme with anti-inflammatory properties. Kiwis, high in fiber, vitamin C, vitamin K, and potassium. Kiwis offer a wide range of health benefits. Watermelon, a refreshing and hydrating fruit that is low in calories and contain lycopene. That's an antioxidant. So see, we don't need none of this junk. We got to go back to the beginning. You know, we're going to have to make our medicine the food. We're going to have to start practicing preventive medicine. We're going to have to start eating to prevent sickness. And the same stuff you eat to prevent sickness is the same stuff that's curing sicknesses. And let's say you got a sickness and you don't feel well, and you can measure the levels of that sickness from when it first got in the body to when you want to go to the doctor. And let's say by the time you want to go to the doctor, it's a 10. Well, whatever sickness you got, it grew. It grew from 0 to 0.05, 0.5, 1, 2, 3 grew. So if you're eating fruits and vegetables that have healing properties, many times you'll be curing the sickness before the sickness make you sick. So you'll be then taking in some type of virus, but the food would cure it before you get sick. When I first went plant-based, my mother and them used to tease me because sometimes I would be hawking up mucus, right? But what my mother and them didn't understand was I wasn't sick. My body was throwing out what would have made me sick before I got sick. So what would happen is if I catch a cold, before I know I got a cold, my body would start making me spit out this mucus. And this mucus would just be coming. So that's why they would tease me, because they hear me hawking up stuff. Like, let's say I start at 7 in the morning, they hear me hawking up stuff. I'm hawking up stuff 7, 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, 10 in the morning, 11. But here's the thing. By 11 or 12, I ain't hawking up nothing no more. So after a while, I started realizing that my body was cleaning me out right away. Soon as something got in there that looked like a cold, my body was gathering it together and spitting it out, because the cold turns into a mucus. Then that mucus stays in your body and it grows and grows and grows. And then it grows and grows and grows, and then your child's sick, or then you sick, so now you blowing your nose for days, and you're trying to get the mucus out faster than the mucus is growing. Then you're drinking milk and you feeding the mucus, so the mucus is growing. Then your mama gets you, or you go eat some soup, and when you put that soup with all them vegetables in there, then the mucus stop growing, it come out, and you get well. But if you eating them vegetables and fruits and stuff anyway, when the bacteria or the cold, as soon as it get in your body, you're gonna spit it up. And so it's gonna appear that you're sick when you're really not. And this was because also I was just changing my way of eating. So my body is also throwing up all this trash I was raised on. And so right now, the way I eat, if I get any type of virus, if I get a virus today at 2 p.m., it's going to start coming out at 2:05. I'm not kidding. Anytime I got to spit out some mucus, it just got in my body. It just got in my body. So even when I had got COVID, which was something strong and it was something new, so it affected my body tremendously because my body did not recognize this virus. Your body gets to a point where it recognized the virus. But with COVID, my body didn't recognize it. But being plant-based, my body started to reject it quickly. And there was no chance that I was going to have to go to the hospital. All I was going to have to do was get my strength back because it wipes your strength out. So I still had to get my strength back. It still took my strength, but it didn't have a chance. And I know it wasn't something normal because it gave me this metallic-like taste. And even though I was back 100% healthy, I was still tasting that taste for months. I probably still tasted that taste for like 9 months to a year. For real. Before my body cleaned it all out, it was still in there. It wasn't making me sick. But I was tasting that COVID for up to like a year. That's how they probably ain't gonna let me say what I think it is. So you read between the lines. And that's why it made me sick when I don't never get sick. I don't never get sick. That's the first time I got sick. But that's because that wasn't nothing that our bodies recognized. See, they ain't telling you grow up, you be around all these viruses. So if you get a viruses that make you that sick, that means it's a new virus. That means your body never seen that before. Because if you a child, you start seeing viruses that's off your parents and grandparents around you in the house. Then you go to kindergarten, first grade. So you around viruses your whole life. So by the time you get, 10, 11, 12 years old, you get a virus, your body already know what it is. Your body already know how to fight it. But with COVID, you get the virus, your body like, what the hell is this? That's why people was getting so sick. Their body never seen that before. What is this? This is a foreign substance. This ain't no natural virus we be getting. Where did this come from? See, vaccinations was for viruses you never recognized. So if you live in the United States and immigrants come from Germany, and the whooping cough start going around, you got to get a vaccination because you in America, you ain't used to the whooping cough. People in Germany already got a system to fight against it. You don't. So vaccinations is a way to put a little bit of it in you so that your body can start fighting against a little bit they vaccinate you with to build up an immune system. That's the importance of vaccinations. It's smart. But then these people want to go and start doing other stuff to the vaccination instead of leaving it like it was. A vaccination was a way to shoot your child up with a little bit of these viruses so that your body would build up natural immunity. Okay? These vaccinations was very important. They had to do it after polio. So y'all younger, y'all don't remember polio. Y'all don't remember them metal arms and them metal legs they used to have to sell at the pharmacy and you have to get at the doctor. Y'all don't remember people with them metal legs on. Polio wiped people out. It was bad. Do your research on polio. It was bad. So when me and my sister was born, they used to have to give you a vaccination. It'd be a big old circle on your arm. But if you didn't get that vaccination and you got polio, you might not never walk again. You're going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. That's a fact. So don't let nobody tell you vaccinations is bad. Vaccinations only get bad when they start adding stuff to them that's not necessary. Doing some type of stupid experiment. Vaccinations should just be for known viruses that we already know. Small amounts of that virus where it won't make your baby sick or nothing, and then it can fight. It ain't supposed to have all that aluminum and all that stuff in your vaccination that they start doing. Okay? Even the COVID vaccine, all they had to do was splice the virus and shoot you up with a little bit of the COVID. That's all they had to do. They didn't have to do that what they did. All they had to do was shoot you up with a small amount of the COVID. That's it. That's all they had to do. They tried to give you a cure for it, when the cure for it should have been 30 days plant-based, high vegetables and fruit. That's all they had to have people do. You come to the hospital, we're going to hit you hard with the lemons and the limes and the garlic and the onions. We're going to take care of you. We're going to make sure we keep your lungs clean, and you're going to bounce back. That's all we have to do. And then after you bounce back and you get well, then we give you a shot of a little bit of it a year later because you already going to have natural immunity after you had it once. After you had it once, your body going to already been made resistant for it the second time. That's why ain't nobody catching it now, because everybody got a resistance for it. That's another story for another day. But the medicine is in the fruit. Some people say the best food to eat, and always make sure you eat food from your area. So that's why I'm going to start going to the farmer's market, because some high-level scientists are saying that in your area where you live, they're saying that the body, we have dry skin, and they saying some of the dust in your house, stuff like that, is dry skin, which they're right. They say, but also when we outside, they say our dry skin be in the wind with the other dust that be flying. And some high-level scientists are saying that if you live in an area, the dry skin from the people in that area ends up in the soil where the crops is at. And they saying the crops analyze the skin of the people in that area, and they saying the crops automatically make medicine for the sicknesses that they analyze in the skin of the people that live in that area. Now, this is just what some scientists are saying. I believe it, because I believe plants are the medicine. So I would advise everybody to try to get food that grow in your area. You can eat food from any area, because a lot of us got the same thing if we're in the United States. But if you're in the Midwest, wherever you at, every now and then go to your local farmer's market and get that food that grew in your area. And if you got some type of specific sicknesses in that area, according to some of these scientists, that food has already begun to grow things to fight it because it's in the soil in your area. If you're in Mississippi, some experts are saying that whatever make y'all sick in Mississippi is in the soil, and the food, the vegetables and fruit growing in Mississippi is already making things to help cure that. We in the Midwest, the food growing up here is making things to cure everything that we got in the Midwest. This is what some scientists are saying. So you do want to eat regional. Regional is very important. It's good to eat plants you can get from Africa and stuff so you can get what's in them too, because there's also nutrients in various plants. But the regional plants, people are saying going to have the most benefit to cure you in that region. When you in Alabama, you eating food grown in Alabama. Which makes sense. If you do believe in a God, that makes sense that a God would do that. That if you in India, it's going to make that food particularly healthy for people in India. If you're in Africa, it's going to make food. That food is going to be custom made by the environment for you. You in the United States, the food is going to be custom made for you. You're in the Midwest, you're in the South, wherever you at in your region, that food is going to be tailored. So the food's not going to be the same that you grow in Indiana as you grow in Alabama. Those foods are going to be custom for that area. But at the same time, it's going to be custom for that area and it's going to be custom for the country because there's going to be certain things that the whole country got. This is what some people are saying. I kind of believe it. But I've been slipping. I'm going to the farmer's market because I'm just getting uncomfortable. I'm getting uncomfortable with the food. I am. And I'm getting uncomfortable with the store. You ever been in the store, Whole Foods, one of these stores, and you're getting your vegetables in and that spray come on? And you ever notice how you back up? You don't want that spray spraying on you? I don't trust that spray. You ever went in Whole Foods and you buy your food and you buy your greens? You buy some collards, collard greens, and you come home, you put it in the refrigerator, start wilting immediately. Now they saying this spray prevents wilting. I believe it. Because how did that food sit up there and never wilt like that? But yet you bring it home and it wilt. Make it make sense. What are they spraying on there? So they saying Sprouts been busted for doing that. And they even named the name of the spray. They've caught Sprouts. They've caught Sprouts. They caught them already. They caught Sprouts already. This is a new breaking story. They've caught Sprouts already doing this, and it's a sign in the store telling you what it is. There's a sign in the store telling you what it is. Right? The spray in question is a pesticide antimicrobial solution called Produce Max. That's what they spraying on your food to help kill E. coli, salmonella, and listeria, and help the food look fresh. It's called Produce Max. It's called Produce Max. This the world we living in, y'all. This the world we living in. It's called Produce Max. I don't want no Produce Max on my food. Here we go right here. Produce Max is a product designed to use in agricultural settings to reduce foodborne pathogens and spoilage. Stop the food from spoilage bacteria in fruit and vegetables. Wash or processed water. Specifically, is formulated to kill and control certain bacteria like E. coli, Salmonella, and Listeria. It can be used in both hydrating, crisping water, and wash or processed water for fruits and vegetables. Now, what is crisping water? So that shows you they're using more than just that. What is crisping water? What is crisping water? See how they play? But this vegan intel, we get into the root of it. Crisping water likely refers to a process of making water more desirable, either through purification or by flavors and textures to enhance its appeal. It is also described as an act of rehydrating produce to make it crispier, or the sensation of cold, refreshing water. So they just saying basically if you just put the water on it, it absorbs the water and stay fresh. So it ain't necessarily nothing negative because when you go and you buy like stalks of vegetables like collard greens and stuff, when I would buy my collard greens stuff, put it in the refrigerator, the next day they wouldn't be as crispy. 2 days later they starting to like get all, you know. So I got tired of having to throw it away. So one day it hit me. I said, you know what? I used to grow. Plants still be drinking water. So if I cut some collard greens, now the new place to stem would be where I cut it at. So what I started doing, I started taking my collard greens or mustard greens, and I would get a big jar like this and put water in it. And then I would stand them up in the water. And when I stand them up in the water and put the whole jar in the refrigerator, they wouldn't wilt for days. So I understand crisping water, they just spraying it because it needs to stay hydrated so it won't wilt. So just because you go to Whole Food and they spraying it, it doesn't mean that it's got that chemical on it. But that we have to find out. We don't mind if y'all spray it with water because that stops it from wilting. But we don't want that other stuff on there, okay? We don't want no produce max on it, okay? But for sure they're right. Anytime you get your vegetables, your celery, any of your vegetables that's green, your broccoli, all you got to do is take the broccoli and stand it up in some water. Use some clean water, not no sink water. Stand it up in some water. Only the bottom got to be in the water and put it in the refrigerator, and that broccoli will stay just like you got it from the store. It will go bad before it will. It'll turn brown and still be standing up. Always do that. That's how I keep my stuff. If you got cabbage, and say you buy cabbage Monday, and you look up Wednesday, you ain't ate it yet. Take the cabbage, rinse it in the sink, put some water on it, shake it a little bit, but let it stay a little damp, and put it back in the refrigerator. It won't It won't wilt. It need water. It's still a plant. It's still a plant. And then I figured that out because my mother would take like sweet potatoes and she would put toothpicks in them and stand them in a glass where the bottom's in the water. And then roots would come out. I think she was doing that to show me and my sister so we had survival skills because, her and my daddy from Alabama. So water keeps it alive. That potato will not die if my mama stick it down the bottom in the water. Not only will it not die, it'll make roots and it'll still be the same potato. It'll make roots and you can take it and put it in the ground and grow your own potatoes, which is where everybody should be headed right now. You buy a bag of potatoes, put one or two of them in some water with some toothpicks with the bottom in the water, let them sprout roots and go plant them in your yard. Stop having your yard with all junk plants, grass and stuff you can't eat. Take a section of your yard and plant sweet potatoes. Throw beans out there. One time I had some beans and we was laughing about Jack and the Beanstalk and I threw a handful of like black beans out. And man, about a week later, I seen all these vines on the ground. I said, oh, this the beans growing for real. I had to rush and get some sticks and stick sticks in the ground and wrap them around because the beans started growing. I was just playing. And so it's like, if you got a yard and it's spring and you ain't threw no beans out there, you just, you know, what you got that land for? You don't let these people fool you to have a big old green grass and you ain't got nothing to eat. I'm not buying no house or nothing right now because when you get older, you don't need no house unless you just buying it for the kids. You know what I'm saying? But if I put my money into a big old house, I wouldn't have no grass. I wouldn't have no grass. People that's growing grass is suckers. If you're growing grass, you are lame. You let these you what the hell? What you gonna do with grass? I wouldn't have no grass in the front yard or the backyard. I wouldn't have no flowers either, unless they could be made. Unless they was hibiscus or something. I wouldn't have no flowers. Men, your wife hate bugs and stuff. Why you not growing mint around the house? You know how around your house you like to have little stuff growing? Why you ain't growing mint, peppermint, spearmint? Why you ain't growing lavender? Something gonna run the spiders away so don't be no spiders in your house. Don't be no bugs in your house. They ain't even come on your property. If I had buy a house now, I'd grow mint around my whole house would be mint. I got no pests. And then all of my land where there's dirt, all of that would be food. I would not grow no grass. I ain't no cow. What am I gonna do with grass? I wouldn't grow no bushes or nothing that you can't make medicine or eat. That's brainwashing. That's for suckers. You out there watering grass. I used to be sitting at my daddy's house watching the neighbors watering grass and putting poison down to get rid of weeds. I just be shaking my head, like, especially for black people to come into a country in a situation and do what somebody else, and you a natural people and you trying to do what somebody on a commercial telling you to do. It's just crazy in itself that you would just waste water and you ain't watering no food. And your ancestors grew food. Your ancestors didn't grow no damn grass. You know what I'm saying? Our ancestors never grew no grass, man. That first off, the purpose of grass was to be on the edge of the sidewalk. So in other words, if I had a yard, I would put some sod and this is my sidewalk. I would have some sod off of the sidewalk. So I would have a square of grass and then the middle open because the grass is just for you not to step in the mud. So grass is a natural carpet so that when you're walking on the sidewalk and you mess around and come off the sidewalk, you don't step in the mud. So yes, I would still grow some grass, but I would only grow strip of grass across the front where the sidewalk has up the sidewalk. Because if I got food there, it's going to be mud. And if the children playing or neighbors come and make a mistake and step, I don't want them to step in the mud. So I would have a perimeter in my yard of grass. Anywhere next to the sidewalk, I would have grass or rocks. I'd have rocks with plants in there that's edible. I could do that. But if I had children, I would have grass. That way, if they fall on the grass instead of the rocks. Then in the center part, I would have everything would have to be edible, be able to make a tea or something. Be some kind of burglary plant. It'd have to have some purpose. I would not be just growing a whole big old yard full of grass. Now, if I got babies and children, I might have a patch of grass in the back so they could play. Soon as they get too big to play, I'm pulling that up. And that's gonna be some type of tea, some type of medicine, some type of food. I'm watering blueberries and strawberries. I'm not finna water no grass, man. I'm not finna water grass. I'm not finna be cutting no grass, watering no grass, or take care of no grass. That's for suckers. Like who that you know what I'm saying? They just sell you a house to turn you into a lame. You spend your whole life like cutting grass and taking care of the house and trying to make the house look what they tell you. Your house should look like this so the neighbors, you know what I'm saying? Got you on some doing what the neighbors doing, competing with the neighbors. You want to have a good yard like the neighbor type of nut mentality. Totally an unnatural man mentality, like a fool. The mentality of people that can't survive. Somebody that if the store's closed, they won't even have like nothing to eat or drink. Like a straight Babylon mentality, like society is gonna save you. Put all your faith in society. You know what I'm saying? We provide your food. And we open at 9. So you gotta wait till we open. You know, you gotta wait till the store open to get some lemons. You know what I mean? It's like, and if the store closed, you don't got nothing to eat. You can't make no tea. If I had property right now, yeah, I'd have all food. I'd have me a little beehive back there. I'd have me a little bee thing. I'd be raising bees. I have my own honey. I'll still be going to the store and stuff, but I just like to be self-sufficient. I would never be, you know what I mean? I'd go to the city and get my permit. I'd have my gutters. When it rained, my water would run through a filtration system and go inside of a tank. I would catch all my rainwater and clean it. I wouldn't just I would catch all that. That one white guy, he built that on his house and the city can't gave him a ticket to he can't catch rainwater off his own house on his own property. Real talk. They told him he couldn't catch the rainwater. You believe that? Him and his son was smart. They made their gutters run into a system. They saved their water that ran off the roof and they drank it and they bathed in it and stuff. They used it, you know what I'm saying? No, they want you to use their water, right? And have a water bill. They want you to use the city's water. Then when all them pipes go bad, Like where is that at? Is that Detroit or somewhere? Where's the city where black folks still ain't got no water? See? Black folks still ain't got no water. All them black folks should have got water tanks and ran water off their roof. That's what they should have did. That's what everybody in that city, they should have ran. They should have, instead of letting that water run on the ground, that good water, they could have ran that water through a filtration system into a tank. They could have had their own water. Flint. Every black person in Flint should be catching rainwater off the roof of their house. The gutter's already catching it. Duh. Then there's a long gutter pipe coming right down. Duh. Have that bad boy put a new part on there. Have that bad boy go in a big water tank. Duh. Duh. When you have them big rains where it rained for so many days, guess how much water you got? When the tank get full, fill up some big old 5-gallon things and put them in the basement, put them in the house. You got water. God giving you water. The best water. Rainwater is the best water. Anyway, rainwater got the most oxygen in it. It's the best water. Other than some water that comes out of wells. You do got some wells that got lots of mineral in the water. But rainwater is delicious. And you're cleaning it. You're getting it straight from the clouds. All you got to do if you want it super, super clean is have it where you can turn it off. Where the water's run over here, let it rain. So let's say it started raining. Let it rain for like 3 minutes. Because that first rain going to wash the dirt out the air. After it rained for 2 or 3 minutes, then turn on the spigot to run into your tank if you home. And you're going to have the best water. When I lived in the mountain in Hawaii, I caught my own water. Take some sticks and put it in the ground and get a big piece of tarp. And you have the tarp, and you have it run like this. You get a big piece of tarp, and you put the sticks high in the back and low in the front like this. And you pull it across, and you got a barrel right there. And then the water is going to catch all that water. It's going to run right down into your barrels. When it run into your barrel and it fill up, you move the other barrel. Boom. You take it, you put a tarp over it, you wrap something on it to keep it clean. You can get screen. You can get that nice screen that's made like cloth. I had this cloth screen. So I had a screen on top of it. So the water would run in the stream. If any leaves or anything in there, the screen, they would be sitting on top of the screen. If you're in a 911 situation and it's raining and you're in your house, you ain't got no water because the system collapsed, always have one of those umbrellas with the big silver point on it. And if you get the biggest umbrella you can with a big silver point on it and tell everybody, don't use this for umbrella, this for 911 emergency. Then when it's raining, all you got to do is open it and stick that point in the ground, and that umbrella going to catch a lot of water. That umbrella going to catch a lot of water. You and your family won't die of thirst. That umbrella going to catch a lot of water. And that's why you want that long silver point on it, because then it's going to hold down into the ground. And you ain't got to worry about the wind blowing it away. But once it gets so much water in it, the wind can't blow it anyway. Then when it fill up, you get your scooper. You start scooping it into your jars. It's going to fill up fast. You'll have water for days. Especially if it's a big rainstorm, you'll have enough water for weeks. You just got to have your raincoat and keep going out there scooping it so it won't run back on the ground. That's like 911, like a real emergency. You don't have no catching system. You got that umbrella. That umbrella, get the biggest one you can that go up. You know the umbrella, you open it and it go all the way around like that. It's going to be worth the money. With the silver tip on it, that thing gonna catch like 2, 3 gallons. It's gonna at least catch, that's probably like 2 gallons. Fast. So it's like 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna catch a lot of water in an umbrella. Trust me while I'm telling you. A lot of water. If you're a man, you come back in the house with that water in a 911 emergency, man, your wife gonna be like, my baby is the best ever. He know how to survive. For real. Cause you could turn on your sink and nothing come out of it in the Babylon system. In the Babylon system, it ain't guaranteed that when you turn on that water gonna come out. It's not guaranteed. You turn on electricity, them lights gonna come on. You dependent on the system. And systems collapse. And then what you gonna do? You understand? So at the end of the day and the beginning of the day, always remember the medicine is in the food and science is behind. The food has the medicine. So give your babies fruit and vegetables so your babies could be getting the medicine out of these fruits and vegetables. These fruits and vegetables and these herbs and spices are medicine. That's what they are. It's designed to sustain life. Duh. And start looking at God more scientifically and just stop looking at God spiritually. Start realizing that if you do believe in a God and there's a God, God's smart. Stop just looking at it as God and start really recognize what you call God. God is smart. So if there's a God and he got food for you to eat, what would be in the food? What God would make it where you gotta chase an animal down? It would make it where there's food right there on the ground growing. You wouldn't have to spend 2 days trying to hunt a rabbit. You could be eating the same thing the rabbit is eating. You gotta start looking at the concept of God as high-level scientists, spaceman type. This is the highest level of science. It's not just water. It's not just an apple. Oh no, it's way more than that. It's not just spearmint. It's not just peppermint. This stuff is medicine. This stuff is here to sustain life on the planet. There's a planet, there's animals and insects and things on the planet, and then there's things to sustain these creatures on this planet. And stop letting people make you think that the only way you can survive is by unaliving the other creatures on the planet. That's 100 billion% false. Period. Don't let anybody make you think you God to consume a cow when the cow don't consume cows. Make it make some type of sense. Where is the cow getting protein from? Make it make some sense. Make it make sense. Make it make just some type of sense. Where is the animal getting protein from when they telling you you got to have protein? Where? Where are they getting it from? Have you ever asked anybody that? Think about it. They lying to you. They telling you whatever they got to tell you to sell what they got to sell. They telling you something that's 100% unnatural and makes no sense. None. It's not realistic, and there's nothing in nature that backs up what you're being told about what you're supposed to eat. It's all false information. And they'll show you men that's trying to get bigger than they're supposed to get, to the point where they're doing steroids and everything, okay, to get you to think that to get your nutrition, you got to unalive an animal. This is 100% false. It was many years before man was able to even catch an animal. Man had to invent weapons and stuff to catch animals. Men were never able to catch animals. Men were never strong enough to catch animals. That's all false information. That's 100% false information. You were not designed to consume animals. You don't have the teeth to consume animals. I mean, that's why you had to make a fork and a spoon. And you had to go make things to be able to consume something that's not natural for you. Basically, that's not natural for you to eat like that. That's totally unnatural. And then your system can't even digest it. Your system is not made to eat that. That's why you got colon cancer. Because your colon, you don't have the same stomach as a lion. You don't have a stomach like they have. You don't have a stomach. You don't have a stomach like that. You're not designed to eat like that. And you're just going to get sicker and sicker. And you got to understand that anytime people is making money, why would they tell you anything that's going to mess up their money? That's one thing you got to always remember. These people in this system are making money. And there's no way they're going to tell you anything to mess up that money. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. They are not going to tell you anything to mess up their money. It's not going to happen. And they're going to always ask you where you get your protein. When they ask you where you get your protein, ask them where this elephant got his protein from. That's what you ask them. That's what you ask them. You ask them where, you show them this elephant. And you say, where did this elephant get the protein from? You show them this gorilla. And you ask anybody, where is this gorilla getting the protein from? And shut down the foolishness. Okay? Shut that down. That's all make-believe. And they know it. You show them the muscles on this animal and ask them, where is this animal getting enough protein to have those muscles like that? Because the biggest and the strongest animals are plant-based. That's just a fact. The strongest animals, the biggest animals. That's just an absolute fact. Don't let people fool you with no fake stuff. Brothers and sisters is out here, people are out here, plant-based, some of the strongest people in the game. They're breaking records. They winning all of the awards when it comes to being strong. Okay, all of that, all them lies now are being washed away. They winning titles. These people are plant-based and they winning all the titles. Okay, all the myths are being washed away. When I first went plant-based in 1978, my parents thought I was crazy. They said, you can't live without no meat. That's what they told you. And last time I went to a doctor, man, let me tell you something. The doctor schmacked her. But this was the doctor. When I went to the doctor, they're going to try to help me be healthier. This was my doctor. I was 62 years old. I'm 67 now. This was 5 years ago. This was the doctor that's going to help me be healthier. He got a whole truck tire around his waist. This is the person going to give me advice on how to take care of myself. I had to take the picture. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. So look, y'all eat to live. Stop eating for fun. And if you eat to live, then your children going to be better off. Ladies, you know, men is hard-headed. So ladies, start sneaking it on him. You ain't got to try to make him change totally. Put a few more sweet potatoes on his plate. Just a little less meat where you can't tell. Put a few more string beans on his plate. Go get some natural salt. Don't tell him. I got some different salt. Because now he's going to be trying to see if he can taste the difference. Go get some better salt and put on his food. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Kay? Get some better salt and put on your husband's food. Throw that bad table salt away. Right? Start making his tea and his drink. Don't tell him what you did to it. All he knows is sweet. He gonna drink it. He don't need to know that's cane sugar. He don't need to know that's maple syrup. Because he gonna fight against you when you try to tell him. He don't know no better. This is why our brothers and sisters is in the hospital like that. They all in the hospital, lost, looking to the doctor. Doctor, my blood pressure up. The doctor, if the doctor had any sense, your blood pressure wouldn't have never went up in the first place. Your blood pressure went up. You got diabetes. All these things is wrong with you because your doctor does not know what they're doing. Your doctor is just there to try to fix the problem once you mess yourself up. Your doctor's not there to make sure you don't mess yourself up. Your doctor get paid off of you messing yourself up. If people get healthy, doctors will lose money. Hospitals will lose money. So it's not to their advantage. They get paid by pharmaceutical companies to prescribe you pharmaceuticals. So if you don't get sick and you don't need pharmaceuticals, they lose money. Some of these Walgreens is making millions of dollars a year in the pharmaceutical department. You go back there, y'all know I ain't lying. You go to pick up mama's medicine or wifey medicine, or husband medicine, or your kids' medicine, and it's just white bags. They gotta look for your medicine. And you see all them bags, you go, dang, how much money is that? Yeah, it's the way they eat. And it's meat. It's meat. It's meat. You cannot, when you eat fruits and vegetables, you eat live food. The earth was made so the tree grow, then it drops live food. Then if that food dies, then it rots, and the seeds from the dead fruit go into the ground and make more fruit. So if an apple dies, then the seeds go into the ground. So media is going to tell you, well, the apple's dead. No, the apple is alive when I eat it. The apple's not dead until it rots, it's dying. We eating live food. When you get celery, if it's still crunchy, it's live. Okay? It's not dead till it's rotten. And then when it's rot, it's designed to make more food or to provide food for the land. So it'll either make more food or it'll turn to fertilizer and make the soil healthy, or the rabbits and the things will come and eat it. I bet it was. Well, my generation, I'm born in 1958. We didn't know that. But what we don't, especially black people, what you don't understand is your parents come out of slavery. So why are you expecting high level knowledge from people out of slavery? I'm born in 1958. I'm starting kindergarten in 1963. And the whole time I'm going to grade school, what are my parents telling me? My parents born in the 30s. What did my parents always tell me and my sister? We want y'all to go further, to know stuff we don't know. We want y'all to go further than us. This is what my mom and dad used to tell me. We want y'all to go further than us. My mom and daddy had reading, writing, and arithmetic. I had math, science, geography, geology, biology. They didn't have none of that. My daddy used to add his bills and say, Michael, come here. When I'm in the 4th or 5th grade, I'm that smart in math. He said, look at that. Did I add that up right? I'm like, yeah, Daddy, you got it. I was his calculator to make sure he got it right. He could do it, but my son, he been going, Michael, come here. Is that right? Yep, that's right. So imagine my parents tell me, I want you to be smarter than me. I want you to do better than me. I want you to know more than me. And one day I come home and say, we probably shouldn't be eating meat. Now they don't want me to know more than them. But see, I'm a G. So when my mommy and daddy resist, I hit them with it. I thought y'all said y'all want me to know more than y'all. Now I know more than y'all. Now y'all don't want to listen. Listen, mom and daddy, I love you, but I know more than you. Y'all come from down south. Y'all grandparents were slaves. Y'all not on my level. I'm smarter than y'all. You know, I used to tell them. Hey, listen, I got a real personal story. Rest in peace to my mother. So my mother, one time I told her, Mom, you know, with your nerves, if you drink some celery juice, lettuce and celery juice, it'll help your nerves. You know, she probably blew me off. So maybe months go by, 9 months, a year. One day I come over to visit her. She said, boy, go downstairs and give me that jar downstairs in the refrigerator, because we had a refrigerator upstairs and one downstairs. One downstairs, we kept all the watermelons and stuff. You know, refrigerators don't hold much. So I go down there and I get whatever she wants, and I see this jug with this stuff in it, this green stuff. So I go upstairs. I say, Mom, what's that green stuff downstairs? She go, oh Lord. I ain't understand she said that. I said, what? She's like, oh Lord. Oh. You're right. It's a true story. You know, I'm young, I got my dreadlocks, I'm vegan. Well, I'm vegetarian. I don't know I'm vegan. I said, what? What? I don't understand why she's saying that. She said, oh, I don't even want to tell you. I'm like, what? She said, it's lettuce and celery juice, which I did get mad because I was like, so your son told you to drink, you don't drink it, but you go to the doctor, some man you don't know, and he tell you to drink it. You know, I was kind of pissed. Cause like your son, I told you to drink that last year. But her face had all broke out with bumps and stuff. Her nerves got that bad, but she drinks Pepsi sodas back to back. So I see why she, because I was pissed. I was pissed over that. I was happy for her, but I felt like, I kind of felt like, I kind of feel like black people be lying. I kind of feel like they was lying. I kind of feel like they lied when they said they wanted me to get educated and they wanted me to learn more. And then when I learned more and brought it back, they didn't want to accept that. They wanted to stay in their old ways. Well, you know, I don't understand what's the point of having your son go into the future and know this knowledge and bring it back to you. Why you wouldn't listen? Why you wouldn't listen? You keep saying I'm more educated than you, that me and my sister get more of an education. But see, you want the education to only be what you want it for. You want the education to be to go to school and get a job, be an engineer or something. You don't want us to come back and start talking about Egypt and ancient Kemet and ancient Ethiopia and plants. You only want that better. You want the European Babylon better. So, you know, like I told him, I said, when y'all prayed to God that y'all wanted me to be better, y'all should have specified. Y'all should have said y'all wanted me to be Babylon better. You just said better. So now when I come back with dreadlocks, I'm plant-based now. You're like, oh, that ain't the better you wanted. Specify your prayers. Watch what you praying for. Because they pray for me to be better than them, and then I am. That's their fault. They should have prayed that stay stupid and stay with a slave mentality. That's what they should have prayed. You should have prayed I keep eating pork. You shouldn't have prayed that I found out that the pig is nasty. You know, I did real research. You know what I'm saying? And found out, oh, I'm not finna eat him. He eat anything. We got high blood pressure. We alcoholics. We dope fiends. Oh no, we got bad health. We put bad things into our body. It's not just meat. You're drug addicts. You're alcoholics. Your whole principle is destroying your own body. How could you drink alcohol all the time but don't want to eat plants all the time? How can you do illegal drugs all the time but don't want to eat fruits and vegetables? How? How are you so cool with your destructive behavior, smoking cigarettes and cigars, but you got so much resistance for going back to nature, going back to the beginning? Why you always want to go in the Quran and the Bible in the middle of this story? You want to go with the Torah. You want to go with the Quran. You want to go with the Bible. You always want to go in the middle of the story. That's not the ultimate knowledge. The Bible and the Quran is not the ultimate knowledge. The only knowledge is in the beginning. All that stuff in the middle was after the fall. That's when people were stupid. When you read the Quran, you read the Bible, that's after you fell. You wasn't on the highest level in the Bible, in the Torah, in the Quran. You was on a low level. That's why your God had to keep straightening you out and keep punishing you. The only valuable part in the Bible is in the beginning. And God said, I give you every green herb for food. And it was so. And every creature ate like that. Go read it. It says every creature ate like that. Lions, yeah, they eat meat, but lions have 6 cubs and only 2 survive because the other 4 can't follow the herds. And when the herds move to go find water, the lions got to move. And when the lion is moved, the babies can't follow. The babies can't follow. So they lose 4 of their cubs. Lions suffer. Leopards, lions, cheetahs, they suffer because they have to make a kill. And if they go for a kill and they don't get it, they begin to get weak. So they get desperate for a kill. They don't have a great life like that. They have a horrible life, chasing down something to kill. They don't have the beautiful life like a rabbit. They don't have the beautiful life like what a horse would have in nature, what the animals that just eat plants and stuff. Got a smooth life. Many lions get killed, get kicked in the face by the gazelle while they chasing it, get their whole face broke, can't eat. Then they get chased out to pride because they can't hunt no more. They don't tell that part of the story. Lions get hurt running up on elephants. Sometimes they get stomped out by the herd. Yeah, lions get hurt. Jaguars jump in the water, and if it's the wrong anaconda and he get around his neck the right way, he die. The anaconda eat leopards and jaguars. They don't tell you that part. Alligators eat jaguars. If that jaguar make the wrong mistake, he be fooled. He get pulled under. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, alligators don't lose all the time. All they got to do is get that arm. And if they get that arm and start spinning in that water and break that arm, you're out of there. Predators have to take a chance every time they try to eat. Whereas elephants, it's all smooth. Giraffes, it's all smooth. The only thing they got to worry about is the meat eaters that's trying to eat them. People, you're not a meat eater. And so when you try to come with ultimate knowledge and you try to defend eating something that you ain't got the teeth for, I already know that your knowledge is biased. I already know you biased, that you're not really standing on real knowledge. You couldn't be, because you don't got the teeth for none of that, what you trying to eat. You don't have teeth for that. You don't have the teeth to eat what you're trying to eat. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? How you got knowledge when you got flat teeth? You have herbivore, frugivore, and human teeth. You do not have carnivore and omnivore teeth. You don't. Neither do you have the digestive system. You don't have a digestive system to eat meat. Period. I don't know what nobody's telling you. That's why you sick. Your digest. Look at your colon, and look at the lion's colon, and look at this colon, and tell me you could stuff chicken and stuff in there, and bread and cheese in there, and it's gonna slide through all of this. 20 feet of intestines, and you're gonna have healthy bowel movements. And look at the lion. The lion got enough acid in his stomach to dissolve bone. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. A lion can swallow you teeth, bone, all that, and digest it. We don't have that stomach. His stomach is only 5 feet long, his intestines. Our intestines are 20 feet long. Y'all listen to me. You got to keep your intestines flowing. You got to eat what's going to keep your intestines flowing. And because you're not, colon cancer is now at a younger age. Now our babies got colon cancer. Our young people straight out of college got colon cancer. While colorectal cancer is more common in older adults, it is increasingly being diagnosed in younger individuals. The rise in early onset colorectal cancer, particularly in those under 50, is a growing concern. Younger patients are often diagnosed at later stages, which can affect treatment outcomes. In other words, they're younger, so they're not going to do the treatment, the scanning. So you got colon cancer, you 34. By the time it start making you sick at 36, it's too late. You already at stage 4, because they going to start screening you when you get my age, but they not screening our babies. And them is still babies. Your children ain't grown until they get 35. To be honest with you, you still got to be there to help them. They growing up, but they not there. And see, we living in the system ain't telling us the truth. They not telling us the truth. They're just not. And black Americans is worse for you, because white Americans, they eat better. They eat better. They do salads and stuff. They eat enough stuff to keep they exercise more. White Americans are doing a pretty good job. They bike riding, they rollerblading, they playing volleyball. If you come to Chicago, go to the beach, and you go up on from downtown where it's more whites out, they really into fitness. They at the beach, they playing volleyball, they riding bikes, they skateboard. Salute to white Americans for taking care of their health. You go in the black neighborhood, we sitting down, we picnicking, we smoking, we drinking. We not playing volleyball. We not riding bike. When I be on my bike, I don't be seeing black people. I just be seeing white people riding their bikes and exercising and jogging. They get up early in the morning and they run or they walk or they go to the local gyms before they go to work. The gyms is for them. We not really taking advantage of the gyms like that. Fitness in the black community, you think it's a joke. That's why the black woman is the fattest woman. She overweight. 4 out of 5 black women is overweight or obese. Many black Americans are turning to veganism to improve their health and address issues like high blood pressure, diabetes, and obesity, which disproportionately affect this community. A growing number of black Americans are becoming vegan out of ethical concerns about animal rights and the environmental impact of meat production. Veganism and plant-based diets have historically rooted in black culture and communities, including traditions like the Rastafarians, the Nation of Islam, and early hip-hop culture. Celebrities, influencers, social media have helped to increase the visibility and accessibility of veganism with the black community, making it easier to find resources and support. But the bottom line is we sick. So that's why we the number one fastest growing community for veganism, because mom and daddy dying early. They sick. Our people super sick. Super sick. Our intestines are not complicated. We eating the wrong food. Our intestines is perfect for fruits and vegetables. Our intestines is juicers. So it's designed to juice stuff. So it's going to be longer. A meat eater's intestines is just made to burn meat and dissolve meat. So if you're eating something thicker, you're going to have a less process to go through because something thick can't go through all of that. But if you're eating stuff that's supposed to be turned liquid, then you're going to have more tosses and turns, so you won't have the runs to give that liquid time to get a little bit of solid, because if not, you would have the runs all the time. So if you had a short intestine, you eating pears and stuff, you would always have the runs. So it needs enough time for the food we eat to solid up a little bit from the pulp. It needs more time to get solid so we can make it into poop. Other than that, you would have diarrhea. You know what I'm saying? You would have diarrhea. If you had a short intestine, you'd have diarrhea. You wouldn't give it enough time to get solid. Our intestines is designed for the food we're supposed to eat to get some type of solidness to it. Whereas the lion's intestines are designed to go through there and be able to push it out. It can't go through all them turns because it's not liquid. We have an intestine for liquids. They have an intestine for solids. All of it's got to be turned into poop. They got intestine with a lot of acid to turn into poop. We got intestines where it can pass through and the moisture can be taken into our body as it's passing through. Our bodies take, give me this vitamin C, give me this vitamin D, give me this vitamin A, give me this B12. So our body is taken out of that moisture and then using all that moisture for our skin to be soft. Lions got hair. We got all skin. So that moisture, we need that moisture. Our skin is taking that moisture, right? We not covered with hair. We got skin. So our body's taking all that moisture. This going for your nails, this going for your hair, this going for your skin, like that. But then when it takes everything out, then now it's dry. It then ran through. Everything used it. Your liver then used it. Your kidneys then used it. Your heart then used it. And then finally you got some dry part. Then you can go pooping. You ain't got diarrhea. Uh, K-Bay. That's why that's like that. So we won't have diarrhea. We have a fruitarian, vegetarian intestines that's taking more out of the food. Our food has more in it. There's not nothing in meat too much. But our food got a lot in it. And the body got to take that out of there. So it's designed, boy, we didn't have that intestines, boy, we had diarrhea. Hey, Kay, it'll be a mess, wouldn't it? It'll be horrible. Think about it, boy. You sit up and eat some watermelon, and you got a short intestines, and then they ain't got time to pull all that water out of there. Oh my God! And you'd go to the toilet, and it'd be just wet watermelon slop coming out. The way our test is made, don't hardly nothing come out. It turns it all into urine. It turned all that watermelon into urine. By the time it get down there, it's dry as a bone. I mean, not dry, it's still moist enough to come out when you poop. But our body get all that water out that watermelon. You be peeing like a racehorse when you eat watermelon. Your testes be taking all that water out of there. We got a great system. Each system is designed for the creature to work best for the creature. And our intestines is designed to process fruit and vegetables. And mostly fruit. But vegetables too, because we high tech. We was also made by scientists. So that's why we got the knowledge to cook. We got the knowledge to know how to deal with fire. Because our creators was like high level astronauts. Our God is a high level scientist. They don't want to, when you read creation, you read creation, you can say, oh, this is some science. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he put Adam to sleep. That's anesthesia. And then he opened him up. That's a surgery. You know what I'm saying? When you read where this Lord God made Eve, that's a surgery. When you read it, he put him to sleep. That's anesthesia. One day I peeped that. I said, oh, this is anesthesia. He put him to sleep and then he closed. That's a surgery. He gave him stitches. Like it might have high-tech stitches. He said he closed up the wound. I'm like, that's stitches. Wow. So this is all high science. What we call an ecosystem. And we are fruitarians mostly. And we wasn't guided to the vegetarianism until the flood, when there was the vegetables can replenish quicker than the fruit. That's when we started going more vegetarian. We had to adapt vegetarian and fruit. Originally, we was just fruitarians. But we scientists, we high-level science. That's why you could cook so good, okay? And you a scientist. You be whipping it. That's why your food's so good, because you a scientist. For real. Y'all know women as scientists. When they go in the kitchen, you just don't look at it as science. And that food be good. That's science. She done took this stuff and mixed this stuff up and made something. That's high-level intelligence. You know which herb to put in there to make it taste like this and that, and the whole time, all of this stuff is medicinal. That garlic is medicinal, the onions is medicinal. So it's like food, but it's like medicine. It's food, but it's medicine. When you take each ingredient and you break it down, it's high level medicine. Think about it. If you take each ingredient and you eating a bunch of plants, and all day you've been eating plants, you've been eating watermelon, peaches, then you had a nice dinner with vegetables. If you took each one of them and you dissected it and took each nutrient benefit out of that, that's some high level science. Sometimes we don't even realize how many nutrients we are eating because this is still a new science that we really studying. When we eating like that, this is high science. Like we blessed to be able to know that in this generation. We blessed to be able to turn the death expectancy around and make a higher life expectancy. Y'all generation is able to turn things around and able to take the collard greens and mustard greens that your relatives discovered in slavery and knew about from the ancient way they lived, because the slave masters didn't know about collard greens. Collard greens and mustard greens stuff was weeds. Did you know that? And the slaves took these weeds and no, these ain't weeds, this food. And they started cooking it. And then a lot of the slave owners and stuff like that, they taste and say, this is good. Then it became a delicatessen. Same in Jamaica. When the Moors ran up in the mountains, they recognized certain plants from the ancient land. And they're like, oh, we call this so-and-so. We call this that. Food and eating and the body and all that is high-level science. Plants is high-level science. You feel like the plants down in the ground. It's all type of nutrients in the ground. Every nutrient in our body is in the ground. But it's ore. So it's iron ore. Everything is an ore. We can't eat an ore. So it's in the ground. So now it's raining and stuff in the ground. So now this ore in the ground starts to chip off or starts to make little dust. So you have iron dust and calcium dust and, dust that's vitamin A and dust is vitamin D, right? Then the plant sitting down with the roots in the ground. Then it rain. Now when it rain, it makes mud. So when you outside, you looking at mud around the tree, that mud is vitamin water. So now the tree is drinking this vitamin water, right? Right? Then the tree takes this vitamin water and it puts it in the apple or it puts it in the pear. Then the pear grow, then the pear fall on the ground for you to eat it. Now this pear and this apple is a mixture of vitamin water, right? And vitamin D from the sun. And who knows what other kind of vitamins are getting from the sun. All they saying is vitamin D, but the sun probably got a lot of vitamins. So now these trees make this high level fruit that comes from the vitamin water of the mud and the ore in the earth and from the vitamin D and turns that into something that we can eat and even makes it sweet and the birds can eat it and all that. And then we eat it. Then a rabbit will grab a mango and run off with it and eat it and leave the seed over there. So now a mango tree start going over there. The birds will eat the stuff, got little seeds in it, papaya. Then the bird fly halfway around the world and poop. Then papaya start growing over there. It's like high-level science. And you basically eating the minerals out of the earth. Basically, that's being turned into food for you. And then if you don't eat the food, it make more food until somebody want to eat it. So if you never ate the apples, by the time you got over there, it'll be thousands of apple trees where nobody knew they was back there. Apples kept falling on the ground, making more trees and more trees and more trees and more trees. Every time an apple grow, the tree out like this is gonna drop apples out there. So that tree's gonna start growing over there, and then it grows. It's gonna draw apples out there, and then draw apples out there, and out there, and out there. And when nobody don't know it's there, you go, it's just gonna be a forest of apple trees. The system seen it was food. They want to make money. They cut them all down. They grow them behind a fence called a farm, and then they sell you something that nature used to give you for free. When I lived in Hawaii, they was driving around taking the coconuts off the trees because we was getting coconuts for free. Their excuse is they didn't want the coconuts to fall and hit the tourists in the head. They lying. When I was a young kid, 5 or 6 years old, sunflowers was everywhere. They grew wild. But then they started selling sunflower oil and sunflower seed. All of a sudden, they in the neighborhood spraying for mosquitoes. But then you never see no more sunflowers growing. You don't see wild sunflowers anymore. Used to be sunflowers grow this big. The flower be hanging over, it be so heavy. Why in America you don't see any wild sunflowers? But the store is full of sunflower seeds. And sunflowers got a lot of vitamin E, and vitamin E gonna make men potent and make more babies. Good for your eyesight, good for how many things. So if we don't go plant-based and start demanding that and start taking control of our life, we're gonna be taken over by the Babylon system. The only thing can stop war, race hate, and all that is plants. If people go plant-based, it'll end the wars, it'll end the race hate, it'll end the economic disparity and all that. It'll make the planet a peaceful, beautiful place to live. It'll end pollution and all that. The key to this planet's survival is going plant-based. You feel me? So y'all eat to live and take care of your body. That's all you got. You want to be healthy so you can be here for your children. Your children going to need you till they're 40 years old. And then your children also going to need you to help with the grandbabies. So you got to stay alive so you can pass down knowledge to the grandbabies. And so we can save money so we don't be giving all this money to the medical industry. You want to be healthy. You want to take care of yourself. I'm 67. I'm still working out. I don't got nothing. I tell this story all the time. My father, I was taking care of him when I started going live. And my father was in his 80s. And one day my father said to me, he said, boy, you're going to be just like me. And I just thought about it. I didn't respond. And when I thought about it, I said, Dad, because I was in my 50s. My father said, I'm going to be just like him. I thought about it, and I said, Dad, you've been on high blood pressure medicine since you was in your 40s. I'm already beat you. I'm already better than you. Here go my daddy. You right. One thing about my daddy, he ain't gonna go. He said he rubbed his face. You right though. I know I'm right, Daddy. Here, eat your food and be quiet and stop. Boy, I've been past you. You've been on high blood pressure medicine for 40 years, Daddy. My daddy, before he passed away, he was on high blood pressure medicine for over 40 years, like 45 years. He was on high blood pressure medicine. Am I on high blood pressure medicine? No. What more proof you need? My mother died of cancer of the uterus, putting all them chemicals and stuff on her Avon. I ain't saying it's Avon, but putting all that perfume and all that stuff on that stuff going down her panties. You know, back then they used to put baby powder all down there and this stuff on it that's got all these chemicals on it. So when you start eating plant-based, it's going to save you and your family because now you're going to be paying attention to what's in your food. And once you keep paying attention to what's in your food and you go to carpet the floor and you put down the carpet powder, what you going to say? Wait, whoa. What's in this carpet powder? Then you're going to be like, what's in this toothpaste? Then you're going to be like, what's in this deodorant? Hey, I swear for everything. When I came up, we used to use Right Guard and Band and stuff. And when I was young and a teenager, I used to always get these lumps under here. Every night I would get these lumps and they would be kind of sore. That was that deodorant. Why I haven't had that now in over 47 years? Why I never got them lumps no more? Why I don't got no cold no more? When I was young, I used to get these colds and these headaches. And we had a second floor, right? So we had the main floor, and then we had bedrooms was upstairs. And I used to have to walk down the stairs where your head be hurting so bad. And the sore throat you get where you cough and it hurt. Why I haven't had that in almost 50 years? Matter of fact, those type of things went away, and I didn't even realize they went away until about 2 or 3 years ago. I was talking on live, and I started thinking, oh man, I forgot about them sore throats. I have forgot about them sore throats. I have forgot about those headaches. I haven't had those in decades. Another thing, I had to take my father to the hospital all the time. First time I took him, I wasn't tripping, but the second time I started noticing all these people in the hospital. And that's when I realized, oh, I haven't been to the hospital. I forgot. I haven't been to the doctor. So I forgot what a doctor office, what this was like. And I was like, dang, man, I missed all of this. You know how many times I would have been in here? You know how many times I would have went to the doctor? I didn't even realize how plant-based, how my whole life was different than how it used to be when I was young or how it is for all my people my age. It's so bad, y'all, that my cousin and his brother, we hook up, and his brother was like my best friend, who was the same age from kindergarten. I ain't lying, y'all. When I go around my best friend, my childhood friend, and my cousin who's years younger than me, I don't even be want to ask about people no more. I just don't ask. Because I got tired of asking, what happened to Julie? Oh, she been died. Oh, what happened to so-and-so? Oh, she died from cancer. She died about 4 years ago. What happened to him? Oh, he gone, he dead. I watched Jesse die, my friend, my same age. I've been knowing Jesse since I was 4 years old. We grew up together, baseball, all that. Jesse lost his toe, probably diabetic, lost his toe. Then they cut his foot off. Then they cut that left leg off. Then they cut that right leg off. Then he passed away. He didn't just pass away. He lost body parts. I watched my friend Jesse, 3 houses down, sit on the porch with his toe missing. Sit on the porch with his foot missing. Sit on the porch with his leg missing. And sit on the porch with his other leg missing. Then he passed away. So you're not going to just die anyway. You're going to suffer. And what used to blow me away is his sister used to pull up and give him McDonald's with the big drink with his leg already cut off. Because they don't know no better. And I'm just looking like, wow. I'm just looking like, wow. Still brought him McDonald's till he was gone. And he been gone now before my daddy, my same age. A lot of my friends I grew up with, they gone, been gone, been passing away like 20 years ago. I'm telling you the facts. Gone from this food and drugs and liquor, and ain't taking care of themselves. So y'all better listen. You know what I'm saying? Y'all better listen. Y'all great grandparents and them, they ate lots of fruits and vegetables. They ate okra. They ate rutabagas. They ate greens. They ate mustard greens, collard greens. They ate spinach. They ate black eyed peas. A lot of them. They couldn't afford to eat no 10-piece of chicken. My generation, the one that started eating all that chicken. My parents didn't have no churches. There was no churches drive through. My generation, I'm the one you better listen to. My generation was the one that made y'all eat worse. Me. This is a fact. Me. My generation created the way y'all eat. That is a fact. Me. Pharaoh. I created the way you eat. I created the Whopper, the Big Mac was all made for me. There was no Big Mac. There was no Whopper. There was no Jack in the Box. That's a fact. There was no pizza. Nobody ate pizza. My generation started eating pizza. There was no pizza. There was no Pizza Hut. There was none of that. There were small individual pizza places, but my generation created the food the way y'all eating it. So I feel like I was sent to save you to eat better. I was saved. I'm probably supposed to be gone. There's no way. I don't think I would be alive. If I was eating the way I would eat, I don't think I would be alive. And if I was, I'd be extremely sick. And my face wouldn't be like this. It'd be swollen like my daddy's face. You know, my daddy's face swole up, right? He used to be more like this when he was young when he married my mama. And by the time he had me and my sister, his head was round, right? And his head was round till he got in his 70s. Then when he got older, guess what? His face right back slim. When y'all see these people with these round faces, they look like they strong. That's all meat and cheese. Because when my daddy got older and sicker, he had nothing but the runs. He was full of worms, probably. All his food turned to just like diarrhea. And his face went right back skinny. He didn't have that. He always had that round face. My mama's face was always skinny, but my mama didn't eat a lot of beef and stuff like him. My mama ate like chicken and fish. She didn't eat beef like that. My father's face was round. But when you look at his pictures when he was young, his face was just like this. And that food made his face more like a cow, like a pig. And then when he got older and I took care of him, his face went right back skinny. His face went right back like this. What that tell you? It's the food. Because if he naturally had that round face, he would have kept it. That wasn't his natural face. That was the food. These is facts, man. You could play if you want to. I'm the king of this stuff. I went vegan when it was health food stores. I've been plant-based for 47 years. Longer than some of y'all been alive. So listen, go, hit the link, get the easiest way to become a vegan. This is the best way to eat better. Okay? This is the way I did it. And what happened is I was going live and I kept telling people how to do it. And then a light came on. I said, I ain't going to keep telling people how to do it. Let me write it down. This manual was created on YouTube from me telling people this is how I did it. And then I said, let me write it down. If you want to eat better, this is the way. This is 100% foolproof. If you buy this manual and you follow these instructions, you will immediately be healthier. Immediately. Because this is the way I had to do it. I had to take steps. You can't just stop eating meat. That's not possible. Only a few people could do that. Out of 100 people, only 10 gonna be able to do that. I wasn't able to do that. You got to wean yourself off of it. When somebody tell you get off dairy, they talking crazy. How you gonna get off dairy? When 30 things you eat got dairy in it. It ain't dairy. If I say get off milk, it ain't that easy. Milk is in everything. You can't just get off dairy. You got to get off donuts. You got to get off the bread you eat. You got to get off all the snacks you eat. You got to get off of all the stuff that you making your spaghetti with. It's going to be 50 things you got to stop eating to get off dairy. But they say get off dairy like you getting off one thing. You're not going to be getting off one thing. You're going to be getting off of 50 things. It's hard. It's hard. You can't just get off dairy. They make it sound easy like it's just dairy. It's not dairy. We'll be here all day naming the stuff that got dairy in it that we eat. So you got to get off hundreds of things. You got to learn how to shop different. You got to learn how to cook different. How you going to do that? That's going to take time and a process. The way I show you to do it, you could do it easy. That's why it's the easiest way to become a vegan. I'll have you eating good, easy. All right, Danielle, it'll be easy. Follow my instructions. The easiest way to become a vegan. It'll be easy, simple, easy, and clean it up. Don't let nobody tell you nothing else. Health is wealth. So take care of yourself. Victory and vegan.
peace, health, and longevity. If you want to consume more plant-based foods, if you want to abstain from junk foods, if you want to consume fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and herbs, and avoid dead flesh, artificial flavors and colorings, sweeteners, anything that is unreal basically, purchase this particular manual, The Easiest Way to Become a Vegan by Pharaoh Ramesses El Aton, who has been a vegan 40 plus years. He will take you step by step on how to abstain from the junk foods, how to abstain from the dead flesh, the chicken, the turkey, the pork, beef, and all sorts of animal products. Purchase this particular manual, The Easiest Way to Become a Vegan, to eat more natural. Remember that the herbs are for the healing of the nations. Let food be your medicine and let medicine be your food. Consume of every fruit-bearing and herb-bearing tree. Unto you it shall be for meat. Purchase this particular manual, The Easiest Way to Become a Vegan by Pharaoh Ramesses El Aton. Peace, health, and longevity.